So today I wanted to just share with you a little bit about what I call convenience colours. Now what do I mean by that? I mean that we go into a shop or we look online and we find all these colours and think, oh, that looks really lovely, I'm going to buy that. And I just want to show you that you don't really need to do that. You just need a basic set of colours. So these are the three colours that we're going to be looking at in particular today. So I have teal, which is one of my favourite colours to make. I have a dioxazine purple and a permanent violet dark. Now, of course, if you use these colours a lot in your painting, then they can be useful because you don't have to mix them up. But I want to show you how you can mix them, and then you can create subtle nuances of that colour yourself. So let's start with teal. So like I say, teal is one of my favourite colours, if I can actually get it out. This is quite old because, like I say, I tend to mix it up myself. So I'm just going to put this in my colour diary. So this is teal. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the mix, just so you can see the colour a little bit more. So it's a really lovely, lovely colour, and it's a colour that I really like to make a lot in my paintings. But the beauty of using a limited amount of colours is that I can then use these in other mixes as well. So for this mix, I'm going to be using Phthalo Blue green shade. Now it's really important that you use a green shade and not a red shade. And we're going to be using Phthalo Green blue shade. Again, we don't want the yellow shade, and the reason being is if I use the red shade in this, the red will sort of counteract the green and it won't be as vibrant. So I'm going to pop out some of the green and some of the blue. Now the blue is going to be very, very strong. It has a very high tinting strength, so we just need to be a little bit mindful of that. So a little bit darker. So I'm just going to add a little bit more white. So we can get pretty close. And again, if I add white again. It's pretty much the same. So again, if I'm going to add a bit more white. So you can see you'd struggle to see the difference there. But what I can do now is I can shift this a little bit either way if I wanted to. So if I wanted to go a little bit more on the blue side, then I can add some of my blue and get a really lovely, lovely rich colour. Or I can move it a bit more on the green side. So I really have a little bit more scope with using my own colours, and then of course I can use those in other mixes. So as I say, if you use this colour a lot, then great, but you can equally just make it yourself. So the next one we'll look at is a Dioxazine Purple. So let's just see if we can get this one out a little bit easier. Clearly not. So the Dioxazine Purple is, I'm going to add a little bit of water just so you can see the undertone of the colour. So it's a really lovely, rich purple. Now purple is a trickier one to make, so I'll just add a little bit of white. So it's a beautiful, rich purple. Now let's see what if we can get something pretty close ourselves. So I'm going to be using the Ultramarine Blue and the Quinacridone Magenta. So a little bit more magenta, just to warm it up a little bit. So there, you can see again, I didn't manage to get it as dark as this, but I've certainly come over into this area here. And then again, if I add a bit of white. So again, I've got pretty close with this. And these are colours that I will use in other mixes as well. So again, great colour to have if you use it a lot, but it's really not necessary. And it's good to get to know your colours. And often when we buy so many colours, we really don't know how they work. And if you just start small and gradually build up, it's so much easier because you really get to learn and know those colours. So next one we're going to do is Permanent Violet Dark. And that one came out nice and easy. Lovely. So again, a really beautiful rich. And it's a lot warmer. You can see it's a lot more towards the red, whereas this one is a lot more towards the blue. So again, if I add a bit of white to that mix. Now the white does reduce the saturation, so it's not as vibrant as over here, but I just want you to be able to see what you can do with it. So now I'm going to use the same two colours. So here we've got more towards the blues and here we've got more towards the magenta. So I'm going to start with my magenta and then I'm going to add a bit of blue. So just a little bit more magenta. Yep, so you can see pretty much the same again. And then I'm just going to add a bit of white. So it's actually a little bit more vibrant. I'm just going to put a little bit more blue in there. So that's just a bit of an overview. It's so important to really get to know your colours and keep colour diaries and make notes and see how your colours work. But as I say, you don't need to go out and buy all these colours. Work with just a small few, really get to know how they work in mixes, and it will honestly make all the difference. So if you find colour mixing interesting and you want to learn more about colour, then stay tuned. I have something exciting coming up. I'm not going to say any more than that, but keep an eye on your emails, and I have something coming very soon.